If you're running a job site, you're running meetings. Owner updates, sub-coordination calls, pre-construction kickoffs, internal project reviews. The meetings don't stop, but the preparation usually does. Today we're looking at what happens when you hand that preparation to AI. Here's a number that should get your attention. 31 hours per month lost to unproductive meetings. That's the average across the workforce. For a general contractor managing 3 active job sites, that number isn't abstract. It's framing decisions that didn't get made, schedule conflicts that didn't get flagged, and subcontractors who left a call with no idea what they're supposed to do next. The meetings themselves aren't always the problem. The problem is what didn't happen before anyone showed up. Let's look at the difference between a meeting with no agenda and one with a structured agenda. Late starts versus on time. Off-topic tangents versus focused discussion. No clear decisions versus named owners and captured action items. None of that difference comes from the meeting itself. It comes from what was prepared beforehand. The agenda isn't a formality. It's the thing that determines whether the next 45 minutes actually move the project forward. And most of the time, it either doesn't exist or it's a rough list of topics someone typed 5 minutes before the call. Think through what writing a real agenda actually requires. You have to remember who's attending and what role they're playing in this specific meeting. You have to think through what actually needs to get covered. You have to estimate how long each item should take so you don't run over. Then you have to format it, make it readable, and send it out with enough lead time for people to actually prepare. That's 20 to 40 minutes per meeting when it all gets done well. And the honest reality is that it often doesn't get done at all. Not because people are lazy, but because there are 12 other things competing for that same half hour. So the agenda gets skipped, and the meeting pays for it. Now here's what AI does to that problem. You provide 3 things: what the meeting needs to accomplish, who's in the room and why, and how much time you have. AI handles the structure, time blocks, item sequencing, owner assignment, pre-read notes. You do one pass to confirm it reflects your actual situation, then send it. No reformatting, no forgetting who needs what, no blank page. The output is ready before you finished your coffee. There's 4 inputs. That's the entire prompt. Meeting goal. What needs to be decided or communicated? Not a vague topic list, but an actual outcome. Attendees and their roles. Who's in the room, and specifically why they're there. Time available. The actual scheduled duration. And key topics. Rough bullets, no structure required. Notice what's not on that list. You don't need to know how to format an agenda. You don't need to figure out time allocation. You don't need to decide who should own which item. AI handles all of that from these 4 inputs. The prompt has 2 parts. The first half is context. You're telling AI what kind of meeting this is, who's involved, and how much time exists to fill. The setup block tells AI that this is a construction project manager preparing an agenda. It includes the meeting goal, the attendee list with roles, and the duration. That's it for the context half. Why does this matter? Because vague inputs produce generic outputs. If you just say, help me make an agenda, AI produces something that could apply to any meeting anywhere. If you say align on a framing schedule delay with the owner, the framing sub, the PM, and the site super in 45 minutes, AI produces something that could only apply to this meeting. Specificity is the mechanism. The second half of the prompt is the instruction block. This is where you tell AI exactly what format to return. 4 instructions. Time-blocked agenda items that fit within your stated duration. A named owner assigned to each item. Pre-read or prep notes for relevant attendees. And a parking lot section at the end for off-topic items that surface during the meeting. 4 instructions. That's the entire difference between getting through a rough list of topics back and getting a complete professional agenda. The output follows directly from how specifically you ask for it, which connects back to everything we covered in the Prompting Fundamentals series. What you ask for and how you ask for it are the same thing. Here's the raw input. Goal: align on framing schedule delay with owner and subs. Attendees: Hendrix the owner, Lars the framing sub, an internal PM, and the site super. Duration: 45 minutes. Topics: schedule update, cause of delay, revised timeline, who's responsible for what. No formatting, no polish, typed in under 60 seconds. That's everything AI received. What comes out of that input is what we're going to look at next. The first half of the output shows you immediately what happened to those rough bullets. AI gave the meeting a title: Framing Delay Alignment Meeting. It listed all 4 attendees by name and role. It created 2 agenda items: Welcome and Context, 5 minutes, owned by the PM, no pre-read required. Schedule Update Presentation, 10 minutes, owned by the site super, with a pre-read. Updated Gantt chart to be distributed 24 hours prior. 3 things happened that weren't in the input. AI gave the meeting a real name. It decided the site super should own the schedule update, not the PM, because the super has direct visibility into what happened on the ground. And it added a 24-hour lead time for the Gantt, because a pre-read distributed 5 minutes before a meeting isn't actually a pre-read. The second half of the agenda continues. Root cause discussion, 10 minutes, owned by Lars the framing sub. Pre-read his delay log or field notes. Revised timeline review, 10 minutes, owned by the PM. Pre-read the revised schedule distributed 24 hours prior. Decision and next steps, 8 minutes, owned by everyone. Who owns what from here? Deadlines confirmed. At the bottom, a parking lot section. Off-topic items captured there, not discussed live. 5 agenda items, 4 named owners. 2 pre-read assignments. The total runs 43 minutes, 2 minutes of buffer in a 45-minute window. Every person in that room knows what they're responsible for before they dial in. The manual process for this averages about 35 minutes when it gets done. Often it gets skipped entirely when the week is busy. It produces inconsistent format from meeting to meeting, and it never systematically assigns pre-reads. The AI-assisted version? Under 2 minutes from input to complete agenda. It's a consistent quality every time regardless of the workload. It's sent before anyone has to ask for it. It pre-reads assigned automatically. At 4 meetings per week, that's 33 minutes saved per meeting, which compounds to over 100 hours recaptured in a year. 2.5 full work weeks handed back. The pre-read is worth focusing on specifically because it's where most of the time savings inside the meeting actually live. Without pre-reads, the first 10 minutes of any meeting are spent getting everyone up to speed. Documents are shared live, reviewed live, discussions starting from zero. That's not collaboration, that's called catch-up. And it happens at the exact moment when everyone's attention is highest. With AI-assigned pre-reads, attendees review the materials before they arrive. The discussion starts at decision-ready level. 10 minutes recovered inside every meeting before the first agenda item even hits. AI assigns the right document to the right person with a lead time note already built in. That piece of the process requires 0 additional thought from you. And there are 3 things AI can't know, and they all matter. Relationship dynamics. Which sub is already on thin ice? Where the tension is before it surfaces in the room. AI doesn't know that Lars and the owner had a difficult call last week, and that leading with root cause before establishing shared facts is going to put Lars on the defensive immediately. Off the record context. What's really driving the delay that won't and shouldn't go in writing? The conversation behind the conversation. Sequencing judgment. When to let something breathe versus move it to the parking lot. Which topic sets the right tone versus which one escalates the room. AI structures the agenda. You read the room. Both of those things are required for the meetings to go well. When the agenda comes back and something needs to move, the fix is one prompt. Move the root cause discussion before the schedule update. Shorten the opening to 3 minutes. Add a decision checkpoint after item 3. 3 sentences. The agenda restructures, item order resequenced, time blocks recalculated to still fit the total, new checkpoint section inserted, all owner assignments preserved. No rewriting, no reformatting, no starting from scratch because the order felt wrong. This is the part of AI workflow that tends to surprise people. It's not just the first output is fast, it's that every subsequent adjustment is also fast. The iteration cost drops to nearly zero. 4 signals for the manual process not working anymore. Your meeting's consistently starting late because no agenda went out. The same topics relitigated across multiple meetings with no resolution. Action items falling through because nobody was clearly named responsible. Attendees showing up without context every single time. Any one of these is the signal that the manual process isn't holding. All 4 means the cost of not fixing this is already significant. You're just paying it in small increments across dozens of meetings instead of seeing it as a single line item. The prompt template doesn't change between meeting types. What changes are the 4 inputs. Owner update, goal becomes progress, risk, and decisions needed. Subcoordination, goal becomes sequencing, handoffs, and schedule conflicts. Internal review, budget, schedules, open issues. Pre-construction kickoff, scope, roles, expectation set. Same structure, different inputs. The agenda that comes back is specific to that meeting type every time because the specificity lives in what you provide, not in building a new prompt from scratch for every scenario. The time savings compound in a direction most people don't initially see. AI saves time writing the agenda, but a well-structured agenda also saves time inside the meeting because attendees arrive prepared, discussions start at the right level, and decisions get made instead of tabled. Fewer follow-up meetings to relitigate what should have been resolved the first time. The upstream change creates improvements at every stage downstream. The agenda isn't just an administrative task that got faster. It's a lever that affects everything that follows. 4 bullet points in under 60 seconds. A complete agenda with time blocks, named owners, and pre-read assignments in under 2 minutes. 33 minutes saved per meeting, 100 hours recaptured per year, and consistent quality regardless of who runs the workflow or how busy the week is. The agenda was never overhead. It was always the preparation that determined whether the meeting was worth having. AI just made that preparation fast enough to actually happen. This is part of our Making AI Work series, a workflow demonstrated every week built for the business tasks that actually take up your time. If you need this at scale for your team, the link is in the description. Subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.